Alright, so in this video, I'll show you how to create a Linux virtual machine using Microsoft Azure. And you can create a free account to do this. And I think it credits you $200 to basically spend how you choose. But I've already done that, so I'm just going to sign into my account here. Alright, so this is the Microsoft Azure portal homepage. And you can see here there's a lot of different services that you could play around with, but we'll be using this virtual machine. And as you can see, I already have a Snort VM set up and configured, but let's just go ahead and create a new one. So you go over here to create, just do a basic Azure virtual machine. All right, and that's fine. You'll want to select a resource group. I'm going to name your virtual machine. And East US is fine. Most of this is fine. And here's your image, so you'll select what type of server you want the virtual machine to run on. So we'll just leave it as going to 18.04 x64. For size, that's fine. You don't really need too much. And then we'll do a SSH public key for authentication. And we could leave it as Azure user. Make sure you do this generate new key pair, and this will automatically be filled in. You want to make sure this allow selected ports is checked with SSH22. And then for this, I think we could just do standard HTTP. That's fine. Networking. And it will set a default subnet for you with that 10.0.0.0/24. And then public IP. Believe that it will create one for you automatically once you create it. Public inbound port, yep, that's fine. That's fine. You can turn this off if you want. It's really just up to you. Okay, I think that's all fine. Skip that. All right, so now once you're all done with that, you'll end up on the Review Create tab, and it will list out all the specs here. Just double check, make sure everything's okay. And then once you're done, you just hit Create. And then it'll prompt you to download this, so go ahead and download that private key. And then you can see here the deployment's in progress. All right, now the deployment is complete, so we can go ahead and go to resource. And this is basically your landing page for the virtual machine. So you see here at the top, you have a bunch of different options. You can connect, restart. It's currently running right now, so let's just go ahead and stop it so that it doesn't take up unnecessary resources. Then we'll start it back up once we're ready. So just go ahead and let that shut down. And then we can take a look here. Shows the status, still running. Shows your operating system. And then this will be your public IP. Then here you can see your properties, your name, all that good stuff. All right, and then it notified us here, successfully stopped the virtual machine. So now if we go back, we can see now the start option is available, but let's just wait on that until we take a look at the rest of this. If you look on the left here, there's a bunch of different tabs. Really, the networking, we can check this one out. Shows your NIC, your private IP, and then here are the inbound port rules. So if you want to enable a different connection or authentication protocol or something like that, you can do add inbound port and then select whatever protocol you want. But it looks like right now we have this, which should be fine for now. And then let's go back to the overview. And if we do connect here, it'll warn you that the machine is deallocated, so you can't connect to it right now, that's fine. So then let's go ahead and go back to overview. Starting up the virtual machine. All right, so now it's started up, so let's try to connect to it, and we'll use SSH to connect. So here now you can see that SSH is giving you a lot more information, and it's checking network security right now. All right, everything looks good. So I'm on Windows, so I'll be using WSL, and you can check this out if you're not sure how to set up WSL. And then basically it has some steps here that we'll go through once we are ready to connect. Then this will be the command that will actually allow you to connect to your VM. Okay, so now that we have our Azure machine up and running, you can use WinSCP to create a SFTP connection to transfer whatever files you want. And I am going to transfer this shell script that I wrote to run all the commands needed for the installation of Snort. So we're going to see if we can transfer this file. Let's go ahead and save it first, close this out. All right, so we're in WinSCP here, and now we can see all of my files on my PC. And let's go into downloads, and let's see, Snort VM script. Let's go into there. Let's just transfer that one file. And I think what we can do here is just drag and drop. And we'll just put it in the home Azure user directory. And just go ahead and click OK. Amazing, so it should be there. So now let's go into here and let's see how to SSH into our Azure VM. And as you can see, if we go back to our Snort VM, it's just this command here. So you can just copy that to your clipboard, and then you'll just need to plug in the path for your private key. So let's go back here. And as you can see, I've already done that. So we can just hit enter there. And awesome, now we are in that VM. So let's see. And if we do an ls, yep, sure enough, we do see that shell script there. So the next step at this point is to go ahead and run the script. And To do that, we will need the command sudo sh and then the name of the shell script. And if everything works as it should, yep. So now it's updating the system and it is downloading and installing all of the prerequisites to Snort. Alright, so that takes a while to complete, but once you reach the end of it, you should see a message like this. And you should also see a message like this that says Snort successfully validated the configuration. And then at this point, you can just navigate back to your home directory, and then at this point, you need to configure your network card. So whatever interface your network card is using, this VM is using Ethernet 0. So that's what I used in mine, but yours might be different. Then you'll want to run this command here to check these variables. And according to the Snort documentation, we want to turn those off. So you can create a new file here using Vim, and then just follow the Snort documentation on how to turn those off. After that, you'll create some directories here to start configuring Snort. So let's do that. Okay, and then we'll make another file here using Vim, and in here we will put a rule for ICMP messages. So let's format this. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and save that with a write and quit. So now we're ready for the next command, which is running Snort in detection mode on a given interface. So we'll use that Ethernet 0. Let me just get rid of that. Let's go ahead and run that. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out. And before we do that, we will need to go back into our VM and do some network configuration here. Need to add a rule to allow ICMP messages onto our network. We can leave that as 310. Let's call it allow ICMP. Let's go ahead and add, and it's gonna create that security rule. So now we can wait for this to refresh. Let's try to refresh the page here. Okay, so now we can see our new rule that allows ICMP messages on any port from any source to any destination. All right, so now we're pinging that public IP, and we can see here in our Snort VM2 that Snort is picking up that ICMP traffic.